heard someone say, I'm so bad with names, or I can't remember, or they try to talk about all the things they can't remember instead of all the things they can remember? Well, today I want to talk with you about some tips that you can use. 4 ways that you can improve your memory, because I want you to remember. I want you to have a better life. When you see someone, you can remember their name, or when you're thinking of a movie, you can remember it. These tips I know will work for you because it has worked for me, and I have an excellent memory because of them. Number 1, recite people's names. Now, for a lot of people that say, I'm not good with names, this is really gonna help. Because if you're in a function and you see someone and you ask them what their name is, the first thing you gotta do is listen to what they're saying. Because most people listen to respond instead of listen to understand. You have to change the way you process this new information. So if someone says their name is Michael, you say, oh Michael, how are you doing? And then you recite their name several times so that you can remember it and reuse it in the future. So let's say, for instance, you're talking with Michael, and as you're sitting with him at the dinner table, you're thinking of his name, Michael, 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 Michael. And then you try to actually use it in the conversation every once in a while. So every 5 to 10 minutes, you'll say, so Michael, what do you think about this? Instead of, hey you, what do you think about this? Or, hey, what do you think about this, right? Make sure you use his name or her name so that you can elicit a response, but also remember the name that you've been using all night long. A lot of times when I'm at gatherings, I like to write down people's names, and I want to make them feel like they're important, so I'll ask them for their business card. Now, if it's a hard name to pronounce, I'll make sure I get it right. And sometimes, even when people pronounce their names, they don't quite believe that you're going to remember it. So if you actually remember it and you give them a call later on, or you meet them face to face and you pronounce their name correctly, boy, they'll be impressed. You've got to remember that a name is the sweetest sound anyone has ever heard in their life. And if you use people's names, you're gonna capture their attention, you're gonna be able to connect with people, and your communication is going to get to a higher level. But more importantly, you're gonna go further because you'll remember more people, and people are responsible for helping you reach your higher success. The second tip is to write it down. Remember, a dull pencil is better than a sharp mind. And like I said, I write down people's names, but not only names, you wanna write down stats and facts, and you wanna write down, events in a journal. You wanna write down your happenings, your experiences. You wanna capture it so you can relive it in the future, or that you can just remember it so that next time it's just ingrained in your mind. If you hung out with me for a day, you'll see that I'm always writing things down. I believe that a pen is one of the most powerful weapons that we can utilize, and I want to remember something important. If I hear a good story, I want to capture it. If I hear a good statistic or a good quote, I want to capture it, because in my line of work, I need to have those ideas so I can expand upon what I'm currently doing, and that's how you get these good videos. The third tip is to use memory tricks. My favorite is mnemonics, and there's many more. You'll have to look them up, but mnemonics for me helps me to remember people's names because I draw it with an association in my mind. And because we think in pictures, when we associate someone with something, it helps us to remember their name. So for instance, if a person's name is Matt, like Matthew, then we think of a mat, like a rug, in a basement or in a bathroom or in a living room or something like that. If a person's name is Phil, we think about fill me up, or Bill. Well, Bill paid the bill last time, so his name is Bill. But whatever it is, try to remember people's names by using mnemonics, but not only names, you can use it for anything else. Using mnemonics can really help you to remember a lot of things in your life. The fourth tip is so important because so many people have what I like to call clutter. They have stuff in their mind that they can't get rid of. Worries and fears and anxieties and problems, and they live in the past, and they end up getting stuck, and they can't remember things because they're not attuned to things. They're not attuned to where they are or the people that they're encountering, because they're stuck in their mind, and whatever they're thinking about, they need to release. So if you have things in your mind, for whatever reason, try to release them, especially if you're going out and dealing with people. Because if people are talking to you and you're not comprehending what they're saying or remembering what they're telling you, then that's going to be a big problem for you professionally and also personally. So make sure you clear the clutter of your mind and empty your mind out before every night, before you go to bed, so that you can be able to have a nice clear mind. Clarity is a key to remembering and reaching your success. In summary, use these 4 tips if you want to start remembering people, places, and names. If you want to remember stats and facts, there are other advices you can look up, you can search online, you can buy books. There's tons of information about improving your memory. But make sure you expand your memory and keep remembering to smash that like button and sharing this with your friends.